Hello, all. Mrs. Straub here. This is our first lesson for global history. And in this lesson, this is an Edpuzzle. We're going to be talking about three very important vocabulary words, starting with history. The definition of history is an account of the past constructed for evidence. This account of the past differs based on an author's point of view. And we're going to talk about evidence and point of view in this lesson. Another word that I want to make sure that you know and understand is evidence. Evidence is information or details from a source that can be used for a specific purpose. And the third key term for this lesson is point of view. Point of view is an opinion or claim. That is how we, as historians, you are all now historians as a result of being in this course. Point of view is an opinion or a claim. A person's point of view can be shaped by life experience and motives. It can also be shaped by race, ethnicity, nationality, class, ideas, gender, and other factors. So moving down here, scrolling through to right here. So your objective for this lesson is to examine what history is and how does point of view affect history. So through this lesson, we're going to explain how point of view affects the histories of two people involved in a lunchroom fight, a lunchroom being the cafeteria. So I'm going to read this excerpt here to you. You can read along with me as we go through it. But this is a situation describing a lunchroom fight between two people. Imagine that you are the principal of a school and you just found out that there was a fight in the lunchroom. You've asked many students and teachers who witnessed the fight about what they saw so you can evaluate who caused the fight. Unfortunately, you have received many different accounts that disagree about who started the fight, who was involved, and when it started. So, a couple things that we know. You need to step in the shoes of a principal, and you're trying to determine who witnessed the fight, and you're starting to realize that there are different accounts of what happened in this event, and those accounts disagree. Now, obviously, you don't have a partner, so we're going to ignore that. In the Edpuzzle, I'm going to have you enter your answers to these questions. So the first question up is, why would there be different accounts of the fight? I want you to answer that question in the Edpuzzle now as a short answer. Why would there be different accounts of the fight? Your next question that I want you to answer is, who should the principal interview to try and figure out what happened during the fight and who started it? I'm going to have you answer that question as a short answer question in the Edpuzzle. All right, and our third question for this scenario, for this little story, is what questions would you ask interviewees if you were the principal? So I'll rephrase that. Again, imagine that you are a principal and you're trying to figure out what happened during this fight. What questions would you ask people who say they saw the fight? Go ahead and answer that in the Edpuzzle. All right, so keeping that exercise that we just completed in mind, we're going to take a look at what history is. And again, history is an account of the past constructed from evidence. Now, what are some examples of evidence that can help us construct the past? Could be artifacts that were left behind by humans that lived hundreds or thousands of years ago. For example, clay pots, tools made out of stone or bone can help us understand what those people made in order to eat, how they hunted, how they grew food. This is evidence left behind. And evidence is information or details from a source that can be used for a specific purpose. Evidence can also be a primary source. For example, the Declaration of Independence, written by Thomas Jefferson, is evidence of the birth of the government in the United States. And a point of view is an opinion or a claim. So again, a point of view can be affected or shaped by many different things. Now, here is a little confusion caution for you. When we are talking about point of view in English class, this refers to who the narrator is in a story. So in English class, point of view refers to first person, second person, or third person. That is not the case in global studies or in a history class. Historians, such as you and I, we use the term very differently. In history class, an author's point of view is their opinion about a specific topic. So you could easily say point of view equals opinion if it's easier for you to remember that. So down below here, we're going to do another quick exercise, and I'm going to ask you your point of view on a couple different matters. So I'm asking you for your opinion. So the first example is already filled in for you. You can see over here on the left, the question number 1 is, what is your favorite class? Here in the middle column, you're given directions to write your point of view on the question on the left. So the example is done for you. My favorite class is social studies. Very clear, concise answer. Then this column over here says, why do you have that point of view? So explain yourself. You're going to use evidence or write about a life experience you have that supports your opinion. Your opinion is that your favorite class is social studies. Well, why is that your favorite class? Again, we're just talking about the example. So what's written here for you is, my favorite teachers have always been social studies teachers, and I love going to historical sites. That is evidence for your point of view. This is evidence for your opinion over here. So what I'm going to have you do in the Edpuzzle right now is take a moment, organize your thoughts, and I'm going to have you answer question 2. What is the best sport? In the Edpuzzle, in the short answer question, you're going to answer, what is the best sport? And then underneath that, the same text box, you're going to write, you're going to answer, why do you have that point of view? So if basketball is the best sport, tell me, using evidence or your life experiences, why is basketball the best sport? Now, one last thing before we close it out here, I want you to answer this question. Should you have to wear uniforms in school? This can be a simple yes or no. Yes, I agree that uniforms should be worn in school, or no, uniforms should not be worn in school. Then continue on in the Edpuzzle text box, and I want you to answer why. What is your evidence that uniforms should or should not be worn in school? What is your life experience with wearing uniforms that allows you to that gives you that opinion, or that has shaped your opinion?